Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me in the booth tonight in place of Matthew Weeks is William White, and of course our great producer Jesse Rasimas. First off, guys, how you doing this evening?
Yeah, doing good. Another road course race in Elite. First time going to Barber Motorsports Park in the stock cars. Obviously, I've been here in IndyCar a few times, but looks to be quite challenging conditions for the drivers, a lot of slipping and sliding, so it should create some good entertainment.
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. Looking forward to a little road course race and a little bit of a break on the production side since we kind of just look at a couple of views and just let it roll.
Absolutely. Going to be on the easier side for sure. This is a 2.27-mile road course here in Alabama. Going to be offering some interesting twists and turns for these drivers, something that they're not quite used to in the Juicy Spider Truck Series. But let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid here this afternoon. As you can see it, Tyler Fode is going to be starting on the front row. We'll get that back up here for you in just a moment. Tyler Fode and Tom Bourne, row number one. Justin Wadsworth and a Leighton Norgard there in row two. Caleb Pecumer and Austin and Abnett. Watch row three throughout this race, guys. Pecumer and Abnett sure to be two guys to watch throughout the night. Jess Story, Cody McCorkle. McCorkle, of course, fresh off of a victory here in the Elite Racing League a couple weeks ago. His first career victory. He's driving for Shift Esports. Joe Francis and Seth Rawls round out the top 10. Gerald Campbell, Dylan Avere in row six. Row seven, Gavin Higgins and Dusty Dewar. Row eight, Jeff Green and Chris Wright. Row nine, Mitch Avere and Sam Boutwell. Let's take a look at row number 10 as we scroll a little bit further down. Row 10, Josh Adams, Mark Robilas with Harrison Talon, Jaden Rasimas, and Patrick Hahey rounding out the 23 truck field. As the field is currently rolling around, we're going to go ahead and make some race picks here. Why don't we go ahead and start with you, Jesse, as Will's taking care of a little bit of race control duties here. What do you got? Who's your pick?
We're gonna have to go with one of these ringers here that just stepped in. Well, I wouldn't call him a ringer, but normally don't run the truck that many truck races in a season. But I'm probably gonna go with Justin Wadsworth for this one.
Wadsworth is a solid pick. I mean, there's a couple guys also out of that Lake Norman camp I really think you have to keep an eye on that throughout the season. Anytime we've gone to a road course, have been very strong. Caleb Pecumer, Dylan Javier, they've all been very strong contenders. Austin and Abnett as well. I look back at Watkins Glen a little while back, and he was very strong there. I am going to go with the driver of the number 59 truck and Caleb Pecumer as my pick to get the victory here tonight. We'll get Will's pick here shortly as he's just wrapping up a little bit of pre-race information for these broadcasts or for the drivers as the pace car is working his way around. Going to be set to go pit side momentarily. If you're watching in the YouTube chat here tonight, let us know who you're cheering for, who you got to take the victory here tonight. And we'll be interacting with you all throughout the evening as well. Will, I think you're finally done
Hello.
for now. Who do you got to pick who are you picking to win tonight's event here at Barber?
I see the issue is he's shown so much pace. It's really hard to bet against him. I'm going to go for Tyler Fode. He has been absolutely rapid. He's been consistently many tenths quicker than the rest of the field. A tight qualifying, only a tenth and a half between himself and Tom Bourne. But I think it's just asinine, really, almost to bet against Tyler Fode. I think he's going to get it done again.
Well, that's a really solid pick here as the field comes down the front straightaway. Green flags out. We're racing here in Alabama. Tyler Fode going to lead us off into turn number one. Justin Wadsworth going to go side by side with Tom Bourne as they work their way through turns number two. Now turn number three. Watching Caleb Pecumer trying to close in as well on a Leighton Norgard as Norgard holds on to that fourth position. We watch these guys working their way around once again, trying to find where they belong out here on the racetrack. Settle into position. Dylan Avere going to go briefly three wide. Big lock up there down to the inside now. Cody McCorkle, Jess Story to the inside of Dylan Avere as they work their way down now. That is the 25 of Seth Rawls, Rocket Man, working his way through on driver's right of Haver and he's going to settle in single file as you see a lot of these windy bits of this racetrack here, guys. Very, very tight. Not a lot of opportunities to go 2 and 3 wide, as we've seen some guys try to do. So they got to be careful that they don't overstep, as I think Austin and Abnett's just gone around. Yes, he
Oh,
has. And it looks like the rear end has gotten smacked around just a wee bit there on that 60 machine of an Abnett. Let's take a look on the Reviles Photography replay machine and see what happened. And Abnett just ahead of McCorkle. I saw McCorkle get a little bit hot through one of these corners, but no, and Abnett just oversteps, backs into the wall over in front of that Marshall station, off in the dirt, gets himself rolling once again, and he's back underway. As Tyler Fody continues to lead 2 laps in. Of course, in this one, guys, lap number 8 will bring out a stage caution. Yes, we will have a stage caution in this one, meaning pit lane going to close at the end of lap number 6. William, of course, will be in control of those officials down there. As we take a look at the running order, Fody, Wadsworth, Bourne, Norgard, Pecumer, McCorkle, Rawls is in a battle with Dylan Haver, as Haver going to hold on to position number 8. He's actually going to lose a bit of ground now to the Seth Rawls machine. Gavin Higgins, shout out to neighbor Pete, up in position number 9, and Jess Story back in that 10th spot. Josh Adams already on pit lane. I believe this was an expected start and park for the driver of that 81 machine.
yeah, we heard inklings of a couple of starting parks. We spoke to Chris Wright briefly before we got underway with proceedings. He was hinting towards a starting park, but we see he's still running in P14, solid run for the number 8 machine. So he's going to keep on chugging for at least a couple more laps. I don't know if he's still going to elect to bring it down pit lane in a little while, but Tyler Foti obviously still leading the way after 2 laps completed here. We're now on lap 3 of 43. So Lake Norman 1-2 as Justin Wadsworth has managed to get past Tom Bourne. Still looking very clean, actually. We mentioned at the top of the show how challenging the conditions are with how technical and undulating the surface is here at Barber, and of course they're not really made for stock cars, but these guys have done a very good job. Obviously, we've seen a couple of mishaps. Austin and Abnett had an incident on the opening lap, but other than that, these guys have fared quite well, really, in these opening stages.
Yeah, absolutely. Faring well so far. Josh Adams has retired from the event, by the way, so one less truck, and Patrick Hahey did not make the start. I'm watching a battle here between Harrison Talon and Gerald Campbell all the way towards the rear of the field, but nonetheless, they were just side by side. They have single filed out. Looks like Jaden Rasimas and Sam Boutwell battling it out as well. That's Boutwell in the Icy Fog machine, getting past the MSI number 1 of Jaden Rasimas. And Jesse, you can attest to this. Jaden, not necessarily the biggest fan of this road course racing.
No, he's not a fan of any road course racing, but he's out here just trying to collect some points and see what he could do and maybe get a little bit better at these road courses.
And of course, we are kind of squaring up towards the tail end of these regular seasons in the A season of the Elite Racing League here in the Juicy Spider Truck Series. Next week is the regular season finale at Talladega. So we have a couple guys out here, as you see this very tight gaggle of race cars. Harrison Talon going to be the loser in this one, side by side again between Boutwell and Rasimas. But some of these guys just looking for an opportunity to gather some points in the late stages of this regular season, set themselves up for a potential opportunity to maybe snag a playoff spot late in the going next week at Talladega. As the battle's on between Leighton Norgard and Justin Wadsworth up towards the front of the field. Those drivers currently side by side. That's Norgard on driver's right, Wadsworth there on the left. Wadsworth with the advantage, but Norgard coming back with the bumper just a wee bit there, getting up to the tail end of that Justin Wadsworth machine. And one thing to point out, you can see on the nose of a Leighton Norgard's truck, that yellow tape. They've got these trucks taped up pretty solid here, Will. So a bit of extra downforce at the Barber Motorsport Park.
Yeah, and it's something that these trucks are going to rely a lot on. Every truck has that same amount of tape roughly on them. Of course, you can only see it as brightly on a Leighton Norgard's truck with just the way the elements have been painted on that particular machine. But yeah, obviously the tape covering the grille, less air intake into the front of the truck means that you do have a bit more front downforce. That does help the car get a bit more pointed. Doesn't really help coming out the corner, which is where most of the trouble is. So yeah, coming out the corner, a lot of a lack of really of rear grip. The car's undulating a lot. You know, downhill turn one, uphill turn two, going back downhill. You also have the 789 complex, which is a triple chicane. Very, very tricky in these cars. There's a million opportunities to just completely drop it. So while the tape is helping downforce somewhat, it's really a negligible difference with just how tricky the track is for these machines.
Yeah, and as you see there, Tyler Fody still leading the way in this one, only chasing his second victory of this 25A Juicy Spider Truck Series season. Last week's win going to Tommy Ryan at Kansas. The week prior was Daniel Gore, and the week before that, Cody McCorkle. So three, I believe, first-time winners, maybe excluding Tommy Ryan here in the Truck Series, but the veterans not able to stack them up as much this season, as of course Fody only one victory on the year, and Tate Lytle with much of the same as well. Lytle not here tonight, and a guy that would have been a contender had he been in attendance this evening, Daniel Gore, a very strong road course racer, but just not able to make it for tonight's event. Nonetheless, a good showing so far. As this upcoming time by, we will see the pit lane close to the field, as the end of lap number 6 will dictate that we have the stage coming up at lap number 8 here at Barber Motorsport Park. Austin and Abnett has rejoined the field. Gerald Campbell going to take a pit side. A bit of strategy out of the driver of that 00 aggressive Eagle entry, as he's going to bring it to the attention of his pit crew down in the paddock area.
Yeah, I don't hate the call, actually, to come down for times before the stage end. I imagine with how little grip these trucks have, especially on the corner exit and the undulating surface, I imagine these tires will be getting somewhat worked up and torn to pieces somewhat.
And Will, just a quick note, apologies, some technical difficulties going on here. Looks like Jesse has unfortunately fallen from the Barber Motorsports Park. He's going to try to work his way back in here to join us momentarily. So we'll just call this as we currently see it on the racetrack. But why don't we step aside? We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have stage number 1.
They walk among us, but at 240 miles per hour, they become something more. They're thrill seekers, risk takers, and maybe just a little bit unhinged. Buckle up. This new era of speed, this racing revolution, it's just getting started.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming. Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And welcome back here to the Barber Motorsports Park. Apologies for the technical difficulties that were experienced there just a moment ago. Caution number 1 is out here, and it is the stage break. Tyler Fode going to pick up the stage number 1 victory ahead of Tom Bourne, Justin Wadsworth, Leighton Norgard, and Caleb Pecuma, the top 5. Seth Rawls, Cody McCorkle, Dylan Haver, Gavin Higgins, and Jess Story, your top 10. We'll see if anyone opts to stay out on the racetrack. Of course, Gerald Campbell came down just prior to the stage break, as did, I do believe, Mark Robilis and Sam Boutwell. So we will see if those guys opt to stay on the racetrack. I know there might be some interest a little bit towards the midfield as well on going off strategy. So we'll see what happens here, Will. But nonetheless, a quick and good opening stint here at the Barber Motorsports Park with dominance so far by Tyler Fode.
Yeah, Tyler's looked the most clean, the most consistent. He's obviously, I've been watching him for stage breaks and whatnot. He's looked very, very methodical. Not an apex miss, not a mark miss. Very, very consistent. He's been running good lap times, 29.4 his current lap of race, and he's still setting some very, very good competitive, consistent lap times with no one really able to match him. So I think the only trouble he's going to bump up against is now on the restart. If trucks do elect to stay out, of course that won't put him in control of the restart, won't put him in the lead. And that is really the only adversity I think he's going to come up against. I think a solid restart, if he does retain the lead through the caution period, we'll see him firmly in position to take another Elite Series win here.
Well, and we do have a couple trucks that have stayed out. Chris Wright going to remain on the racetrack. Austin and Abnett also out there on the racing surface. Of course, and Abnett had his early issues, backed into the wall, but nonetheless has been able to recover. Gerald Campbell stays out. Mark Robilis also remaining out on the racetrack. Everyone else going to come down pit road. So Chris Wright will inherit the race lead, and Abnett going to take his wave around to put himself just 1 lap down. He's still going to need a bit of a miracle if he wants to work his way back on the lead lap towards the tail end of this one, but nonetheless, just 1 lap closer and an opportunity closer to be able to gain maybe a few spots. As we take a look at the cars coming off pit road, Tyler Fode won that race off ahead of Tom Bourne, Justin Wadsworth, and a Leighton Norgard. So essentially the same order they went in is the order they're going to come out. They're just all going to be 2 positions further down, as of course Chris Wright and Gerald Campbell will retain row number 1 for the upcoming restart.
Yeah, I think this is the only point where Tyler Fode can realistically lose this race. Obviously, if Tom Bourne, Justin Wadsworth, Leighton Norgard, those sort of lot find some pace to potentially challenge him on track, that's a whole different story. At the moment, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But this is the first time that Tyler Fode is going to have someone in front of him tonight. So we'll see exactly how he carves his way through this. Chris Wright and Gerald Campbell, not been 2 of the quickest trucks tonight. Chris Wright started in the mid-pack, was running around 14th. Gerald Campbell, we saw him around in a similar position, fighting with Harrison Talent briefly on camera.
Why don't we talk to Gerald Campbell and see what his mindset is? Let's go ahead and pull him in. Hey, Gerald, it's Robert and Will up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
you went with the off strategy here, pit just prior to the stage break, and now you're going to restart on row number 1 alongside Chris Wright. What's your plan here? Can you make it to the end on only this pit stop, or do you have to come back down again?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come down again, but tires for me were burning up pretty quickly. So, like, I know some guys are already discussing about being able to save all the way to the end from this pit stop, but I want tires. With 20 people in the race, I mean, your worst case scenario is you finish in the top 20 position. So, try something different. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna beat Fody obviously on pace, so maybe I'll off track him a little bit and get the lead long enough for that.
It definitely never hurts to go with a bit of an off strategy here, as the light's going to go off and the pace car will go green next time by. Do you have a plan here for turn number 1 on the restart? Are you going to try to outbreak Chris Wright into 1?
Well, they always say 4 tires are better, or 8 tires are better than 4. So we'll see how that goes. If I'm still side by side with them, I don't know. I can use Chris up once or twice. I think we're friendly enough terms that I can get by with a couple times doing that.
Absolutely, Gerald. We're going to get you back down to your team here, but any shout outs you want to give before we do?
Shout out to my wife that's having to watch the children while I race this track that I'm not particularly having the best of fun. But yeah, I'd like to thank her, and thank you guys for being up in the broadcast booth, of course, and just thank the vets, and let's see how turn 1 goes.
All right, Gerald. Best of luck, my friend. Thanks for joining us up here.
Thank you.
It's Gerald Campbell driving the 00 for Aggressive Eagle Racing. He's going to restart alongside Chris Wright, the Lake Norman Motorsports driver up here in the number 8 for Blue Egg Marketing. Of course, the marketing department for small businesses. Be sure to check out Blue Egg Marketing. They're always ready to put you in the pole position and set you up for success, no matter what you might need when it comes to the world of marketing. Guys, we're going to get set for this restart. Will, what do you anticipate here? 2 guys, well, 1 guy on the original tires and 1 guy on a couple lap older tires. How do you think it's going to go into turn number 1?
I'm anticipating carnage. I genuinely would not be surprised if Gerald and Chris have stayed up just to annoy Tyler. Honestly, I do the same thing just for a laugh. And the veterans in this series take it a bit less seriously than they do in Cup and Xfinity, so I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, we know Gerald pitted before the stage, so his tyres aren't really that worn. Chris has control of the restart, so he'll have an early advantage, of course, going into turn 1. But I think this will be really the biggest test that Footy will face all night, because he's got to get past Gerald essentially on pace, as he's got fresh tyres. Chris Wright, he's just got to try and dispatch as quick as he can, as Chris Wright's still on the tyres that he was on at the start of the race, so it's going to be interesting for sure.
Well, let's see how it goes. We're getting set for the restart here. Pace cars off. Chris Wright going to be your leader on the right side. Gerald Campbell on the left as they work their way down the front straightaway. Chris Wright on the loud pedal. We're back underway. A great jump here by the driver, that number 8 Blue Egg Marketing entry, as he's going to head for turn number 1. Opens up that door just a little bit for Gerald Campbell. Campbell not quite able to get there this time, as Wright going to lead us through turns number 1 and 2. Wright opens the door, now slams it right in Gerald's face. Here comes Fody up to the rear end of the 00 machine. Gets Gerald a little bit wiggly, a little bit jiggly, starting to look like Jello on the table at the local potluck, as contact, I do believe, there between Fody and Campbell. That's going to allow Gerald to get door to door with Chris Wright here. We'll see what they do heading down towards the next segment of this racetrack. Right on the right side, Aggressive Gerald up there out to the lead. Oh, Tom Boring gonna lock it up. He's able to gather it back up, does continue on, as he's now got a Leighton Norgard hot and heavy up his rear end as they work their way down towards this next segment of the racetrack. Oh, there's some beating and banging there. Seth Rawls just got beat off heading into the corner. That looked a little sketchy.
Seth Rawls just got what going into the corner there, Robert?
Happy birthday, Trevor Bain, 20 years old. This is Chris Wright falling back now. He's side by side with Wadsworth for position number 3. Here comes Seth Rawls just beside him as well. Dylan Haver, he's going to heave, he's going to hoe, and he's going to have his way back into position number 6, just behind Rocket Man Seth Rawls as they work their way down the front straightaway. So Chris Wright not able to hold on as much as he might have liked to on those older tires, but still looking okay up in the 5th spot. But Gerald Campbell leading ahead of Tyler Fody. Fody trying to close that gap, 0.4 of a second now, as Wright loses another spot back there. We'll keep our eyes up front, though, on Campbell and Fody, as they're going to be nose to tail working their way through. I believe that was turn number 4. Now headed up a little bit of a loop here as Haver ahead of Bourne. These guys duking it out once again.
Yeah, I thought Gerald Campbell's actually doing brilliantly on this restart. The gap really isn't coming down that quickly. It's certainly fluctuating. You see it's just come flying down to 1/10 of a second. Just as I say that, you'll now see Tyler Foti right up Gerald's backside there, but that's immediately back up to 0.5 second. It's really fluctuating big time here. So definitely putting up a fight for the race lead, and obviously time will begin to start ticking fairly soon for Tyler Foti as pressure from Justin Wadsworth will definitely begin to unnerve what is a very steely 40 truck. We know how strong he is under pressure, but he's still only human as there goes the move. I don't know if there's a bit of a bumper action going on, but certainly audacious move there, as I think Foti saw his teammate Justin Wadsworth coming up behind him, and I think he wanted to get the 00 dispatched as quickly as humanly possible, and he's done that back into the lead. Justin Wadsworth doesn't quite go for the move on Gerald. Gerald with not really the purchase to go for the move on Tyler. So that should be Tyler Foti beginning to set sail here now that he's been unleashed.
Looks like we have a replay here from Mark Robilas Replays. RobilasPhoto.com for all your photography needs. Harry getting a little hairy on the inside of Jaden Rasimas there. That's going to cause the 51 to go around. We will stay green, though, and we should be able to remain green to the end of this one. Another replay here. Looks like Dusty Door going to have an off-track excursion.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
That may be day over for the 32. Took a pretty big impact on that left front, and any impact you get is... I'm impressed right now. Gerald doing a great job holding off a very hungry driver in Justin Wadsworth. Wadsy always strong here in this Juicy Spider Truck Series, looking for his first win of the season as well, chasing down the boss man Tyler Foti. And you know, I was going to mention this earlier, Will, but now is a good time to say it. When Tyler and Gerald were getting together, I was just thinking Gerald's not a guy that you want to make mad, because he's not afraid to use that bumper, where Tyler might be a little bit more lenient in doing so after someone races him a bit hard. Gerald's not afraid to just throw it in there and wipe you the heck out. So he's got to be careful, and Justin's going to have to be careful as well as they go side by side for that second spot. Looks like Gerald might open the door for Rawls as well. The Rocket Man going to shoot it up on the inside, looking like SpaceX and Blue Origin working his way up there, trying to get by that 00 of Gerald Campbell. And don't look now, Tom Bourne, Dylan Haver, Caleb Becumer, and Leighton Norgard all closing in as well. This is about to be about a 7-truck, maybe even 8-truck battle for the second position, but something's just happened to Becumer here, Jesse. Can we get a look at that 59 truck? He's lost a heck of a lot of time, and I think it may have involved Norgard, as you see a Leighton dive in on driver's left. Oh, Lake Norman on Lake Norman violence right there. Becumer gets in hot and heavy, sniffs the lunch of Dylan Haver, and sends himself around, as Gerald's going to go off track there as well. Harry, that's just Harry. He's having a good time or a miserable
not
time.
the line. Oh dear, Harry.
Harry's here. And Gerald way off track right there. Those tires might be getting a little bit glazed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Chris Wright just absolutely died. Can we get a look at that one? Something catastrophic has happened to the driver of the number 8 machine. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh man, I think the brakes might have failed on that 8 truck of Chris Wright. Yeah, something's happened. Mechanical issues for the Blue Egg marketing entry, oh my gosh, Chris Wright, he has become deceased. Can we go on board? There we go. Jesse, you're fantastic. I love you so much. As we go on board with Chris Wright, yeah,
He's
you're just going
floored
to see
it.
it right there. The wheel just absolutely snaps on him, and he just heads right into the wall. So unfortunately for Chris Wright, it is game over, but not game over for his boss man right there in Tyler Fodias. We'll go back live here in just a moment, get some live pictures of Tyler Fody, who's currently leading the way. Shout out again to robilusphoto.com for all your photography needs. A great partner here of the Elite Racing Network. Of course, you've also heard from Worldwide Technology Raceway and Juicy Spider Studios. Great partners here. The Truck Series says Leighton Norgard goes way off in the background. Something has just gone amiss there for the driver, the number 12. He's able to gather it back up, does continue on, but that was a very, very deep exit of this corner here, Will.
Yeah, that's definitely a track limits violation. I do wonder if that will, excuse me, I do wonder if that will incur a slowdown of some kind. I don't think it has.
Well, I think the grass
it's
was
enough of a disadvantage.
I
Did
think the
most of the
grass
slowing
might have
down,
been a
yeah.
slowdown for him there. So not necessarily needed for a Leighton Norgard, as looks like the battle heating up between Tom Bourne and Seth Rawls for position number 3 is their nose to tail just ahead of a Leighton Norgard. Norgard not out of this fight either. And of course, as Gerald mentioned, another pit stop still to come. So keep an eye on that.
Well, that could be a move, I think. Tom Bourne looking to the inside of Seth Rawls. He's
I'm
there.
trying here. Seth is closing the door
He is.
rather well.
He's defending very nicely. But now again, it's again defending the inside here, going into turn 7, I want to say. Yeah, 7, 8, and 9. Tom Bourne almost looking at the grass there. This is going to bring a Leighton Norgard right into play here as these two are still side by side here. And he's going to immediately try and sneak past Tom Bourne, potentially look at Seth Rawls here as well. This could be bringing a Leighton Norgard right into the action for an outside shot at a podium, potentially.
Whoa!
There he goes. He's past Tom Bourne. Brilliant move there.
That was big balls move right there by the driver, that number 12, Leighton Norgard. Yes, that is a scientific term. Big balls move. Look it up on Google. Source me. I said it. That's how it goes. As he's just ahead of Tom Bourne in position number 4, chasing down the Rocket Man. And look behind them, Dylan Haver right there. Gerald's still in the top 10 in position number 7. So doing a nice job and making that strategy work here for him. I would probably expect him to come down maybe lap 25 or so, give himself about 20 laps to the finish. I'm not sure. What are you thinking there, Will?
I would say so. I think I'd agree. I mean, yeah, I think obviously it depends on fuel numbers, but I think, restarting in lap 12, that gives you about 30 laps. I think you could potentially look at an undercut, with the way tyres look to be deteriorating. I mean, we saw many, many trucks going off in the past 3 laps, and there's another one, Gerald Campbell, with a small excursion into the grass there. An undercut, not the worst idea in terms of getting track position, but then you also think your tyres might be that much worse. Come the end of the race, do you suffer it going long for more time at the end? It's part of the beauty, really, of road course racing when you find yourself in situations like this. The strategic battle is almost as important, if not more important, than outright pace, and I think that's part of the spectacle that, the crashes and the bashes and all the action might not necessarily tell the story of.
Well, Caleb Becumer has just decided that the story is something that he wants to be a part of right here. 4-truck battle from Gerald Campbell on back. Cody McCorkle goes off the racetrack right there, gathers it back up. That opens the door for Caleb Becumer to stick his nose in there as we go by a big old spider. I think William was just shaking in his boots looking at that, scared of those arachnids, those 8-legged creatures, is William White, of course. Billy Blanco, not a fan of insects.
Sure, I'm actually not. I really don't like spiders. I saw a spider in the shower the other day. I screamed like a little girl. It was not good.
Shout out to Holly, by the way. She's the one that has to kill all the spiders for William anytime that they're around. As Gavin Higgins goes side by side, he goes into the navel. I think Gerald's dead. Oh no, he's not.
No, he's
wow.
alive.
He just resurrected from the dead right there. Gerald Campbell back in action and doesn't even lose positioning on Gavin Higgins as they're side by side once again. Cody McCorkle, Caleb Becumer right behind them. Here comes the W Express as well. A Jess story. He heard a story was happening. He's like, I
Oh
got
no,
no.
Gerald.
Oh, nice job by Cody going around him as
Oh, God.
Gerald. Oh,
No! Zero, dear.
oh, shoot.
That's not
Gerald.
gone well.
Oh, aggressive goes around as Gerald Campbell going to go off in the grass, nearly collects that green truck right there. I think that was Jeff Green. Yeah, that's fitting. The green truck, the green man, Jeff Green.
Yes, no, that is quite fitting. I was about to say, as Campbell went off in turns 1 and 2, as we look at the fight for third here, I was just about to compare Gerald Campbell to that one GIF of the Undertaker, or the collection of GIFs from the Undertaker from WWE, where he just kind of rises from the dead out of a coffin every now and again, just a straight sit up. But he's kind of just fallen straight back down on his back after that particular incident, which is a bit unfortunate for Gerald. He's actually doing quite well. Then he got slapped about a bit, and now he's down in 14th. And now we've got a fight here between Leighton Norgard and Tom Bourne here for P4, and that's going to be music to the ears of Seth Rawls as he can begin to eke out a bit of an advantage, as there's now a second between himself and the Mutex GG number 12.
You know, speaking of the Undertaker popping out of his coffin and music, as you mentioned, music to the ears. The day I die, when I have my funeral, I want to be kind of set up like a Jack in the Box, or someone could just wind the side of the coffin and I'll just pop out.
That is morbid, but that is a sick idea. I might nap that for my funeral. That's an amazing idea. That'll traumatize people. I mean, if
Oh
that's
my
the mark
gosh.
you want to leave on the world, then by all means, that is a
Absolutely.
brilliant idea. I'm
I
gonna
think
take
Dylan
that.
Haver just cut the course right there. He went across the grass. Might have been yes, it was. He has a furled up black flag, so that is a slowdown for Dylan Haver, and he's not really slowed too much so far. So we'll keep our eyes on that and see if that turns into a full on black flag, and it has cleared. So Haver is going to be okay. Not going to gather any sort of additional penalties. Gerald Campbell did just go off track again, by the way, guys. So it's gone from bad to worse, and his strategy may end up not working out well for him here as we have 23 to go. I would really expect to see Gerald in the next 2 to 3 laps down pit lane for what should be the final visit for that 00 aggressive eagle entry. And like you said, top 20 is guaranteed at this point in the shorter field here at Barber. So doesn't hurt to do something a little bit different in hopes that it works out. And I got to point this out too. I think you're seeing it, Will. That gap is getting tighter between Fody and Wadsworth here. Wadsworth getting a little bit bigger in the mirror of that number 40 truck.
Yeah, no, I was thinking as I got home during practice, I saw the times and I saw the qualifying, and I thought, yeah, Tyler's going to come into Truck Series again, mug the field off, win by 20 seconds, and leave. But no, Justin Wadsworth is absolutely not being taken for a mug. Less than a second and a half between himself and his 7-time champion team owner in Tyler Foti. So Justin Wadsworth, obviously reigning Cup Series champion, has made leaps and bounds of progress in the past couple of seasons in the Elite Racing League, is now a contender in every single race that he finds himself in, and definitely one of the most improved drivers in the entire league, really. So not really much of a surprise anymore to see him pressuring someone like Tyler Foti for a win at a road course. And as the gap begins to dwindle, I do wonder if we have a race on our hands here for the win here with 22 laps to go.
Well, the expert has chimed in over in the YouTube chat, Ethan Stanley, saying that his money's on Justin, and I kind of have to agree at this point. I think Justin Wadsworth is the better race truck compared to Tyler Foti. Foti going to try to do everything he can possible to hold off that number 6 machine, but Justin Wadsworth just seems to be playing that steady Eddie role, not necessarily pouncing too hard, but keeping himself in a spot where when it's time to go, he's still there and able to do so.
Yeah, I think that's his main priority right now. I think he knows he has the pace in hand to deploy when he needs it, but he knows he's only halfway through the race. He's less than halfway through the second stage. I think what he wants to do now is just keep the tyres under him, knows that the undulating racing surface is not going to be good for your tyres. I think he wants more later to really start to pile the pressure on Foti. Seeing the gap come down now just over a second between Tyler Foti, Justin Wadsworth. I think Ethan Stanley in the YouTube chat might be right. There is definitely a fight brewing, and it looks to be Justin Wadsworth on pure pace at the minute that looks to have the upper hand. But of course, the old adage is in motor racing, it's one thing to catch someone, it's another thing to overtake him. So we'll have to see how that develops in the next 20 odd laps.
Well, and just for those tuned in at home, if you love road course racing, don't tune in the next 3 nights here on the Elite Racing Network, as tomorrow night we're going to take the Robotics Photography Grand National Series to the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway for the Golden Brew 200. That's going to be one heck of a good race there. Then Tuesday night, the Rev Limit Workshop Development Series presented by Design Ping heads to Kentucky for the Kentucky 187. Wednesday night, we're headed back super speedway racing in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series with the Southtown 250 at the Talladega Super Speedway. And then Saturday, come back for some road course racing when we take the Elite Sports Car Series to Brazil for the 2-hour and 40-minute race in the Solo Racing Sports Car Series at Autodromo Jose Carlos for the Grand Prix there. That's going to be one heck of a good race. Be sure to join us. By the way, we've had 2 more retirements over the last couple of minutes. Jerome Campbell and Dustin Dewar have both retired from today's festivities, and this battle is brewing even further between Fody and Wadsworth.
Yeah, the gap has somewhat stabilised now at just around the 1 second mark. I think Justin Wadsworth is now prioritising taking care of his tyres. Obviously, we don't know how much pace Tyler has in hand as well. We don't know how hard he's pushing. He could be going 100%. He could just be managing the gap himself. So I think, you know, at the moment it looks to be all Justin Wadsworth in terms of pure pace. But I think you'll only start to see what's really representative between these two in the next sort of 10 to 15 laps when the burners start to get put on, when sort of cards are laid out on the table. This is what we have in terms of tyres, in terms of pace. So I think early signs point towards Justin Wadsworth, but give it 10 laps. Tyler Foti could have been saving this entire time. He puts the burners on and starts to really get out into a lead again. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely going to have to wait and see, as we have 20 laps to go in this one. So looking at about another 40 minutes of racing or so. So still a lot of time left here on this racetrack for these guys to duke it out, as we watched right there. Gavin Higgins setting that rear end around just a wee bit. There's Jeff Green ahead of Jaden Rasimas. I think that's Joe Francis right there as well. And Austin and Abnett, who currently sits 1 lap down, bringing up the rear of this little pack of race trucks here in the spicy... What is the Juicy Spider?
Yeah, that's
not Spicy Juice Series.
That was a little backwards there, Robert.
Yeah, I was gonna call it the Spicy Juicy Series, but it is definitely not that. Yeah. The Juicy Spider Truck Series here on the Elite Racing Network. These guys are doing a great job here so far, even though we may not be.
I don't think something called the Spicy Juicy Series is something that would particularly fly on YouTube. That I think that much is true.
I don't want no spicy juice either. That just does not sound tasty.
No,
As we have another battle here between Seth Rawls and a Leighton Norgard. That is for positions 4 and 5 on the racetrack. You can see Gavin way back in the distance there. Higgins trying to close up. He's got a lot of work to do. Well, 6 seconds. It looked a lot closer than it was on that very long straightaway here at the Barber Motorsports Park, as Rawls in the Golden Brew 25 currently holds on to position number 4. Things stabilized throughout this field, man. It's pretty quiet. Yeah. As actually, as I say that, Jeff Green closes in on Cody McCorkle. So we're about to have a battle for the 10th position as well. Jaden Rasimas right there, Joe Francis. That's that grouping we saw a little bit earlier on. But Jeff Green closing in rather nicely here on McCorkle. We'll see if this battle heats up just a little bit further and potentially moves Jeff Green into the top 10 as McCorkle goes wide. That is not what Cody needed to do. This is not his corner. Jaden, that was a heck of a move right there. Goes to the inside of both McCorkle and Jeff Green. Now he's trying to put himself in the top 10, and he does. What a move here by young Jesse. Jesse, your boy's doing a good job up here in the top 10.
Yeah, he's got some footing underneath him, it looks like, and that's kind of unusual for him at a road course. So
Using lessons learned from his father.
I doubt that, because in stock cars and trucks on road courses, I am terrible myself. So
Using lessons learned from Ethan Stanley, I think there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a
maybe.
brilliant move. That was
But
very much a
Ethan-
through goes Hamilton move there. I would say.
that was pretty sick, actually. That was
Good.
phenomenal. As Norgard having an issue, we're gonna pull up the replay. What just happened here for the
That's
driver, the number
teammate.
12 tanks.gg entry?
he just pitted.
Oh,
Oh, it's gone pits.
he just went pit
Oh,
side. Okay.
strategy.
He almost hit the wall there going into the pits. That was a little sketchy. As he heads pit side, that moves Jeff Green into the top 10. Good job, Jeff, as he is able to get his way up there. Cody McCorkle going pit side as well. I think that's a good move. We've seen Cody overstep a couple times in that same segment of the racetrack, so probably a good idea to go down there, get some fresh rubbers on that car, and work his way back out here as Joe Francis going to challenge Jeff Green. This is the battle for position number 10. Francis and the numbers by Joe 55 going to get by the Turner Eye Clinic number 38 of Jeff Green. If Jeff loses to the truck behind him here, that's not a position lost, so he should be okay. I saw Leighton come out just behind them as well, so he has re-entered, I believe, probably around the 13th or 12th position on the racetrack. So not a ton of spots lost for Leighton, and with strategy, he should be able to gain most of them back, but we'll keep our eyes peeled nonetheless and see what that number 12 truck can do, as we're about 5 laps past the halfway point here. Why don't we step aside, have a commercial break, and when we come back, we should be able to gather the upcoming pit stop for the majority of the field here and the closing 15 laps or so in today's Barber 100. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ERN.
They walk among us, but at 240 miles per hour, they become something more. They're thrill seekers, risk takers, and maybe just a little bit unhinged. Buckle up. This new era of speed, this racing revolution, it's just getting started.
And we're back here at the Barber Motorsports Park in the Barber 100 here on the Elite Racing Network. We're about to have a 3-truck battle for the race lead. And what I want to do this upcoming time by, once these leaders work their way by that start-finish line again, is we'll do a whole lap on board with one of these front 3 trucks. I'm thinking probably Tom Bourne, because he may have the best view of this battle that's about to heat up here momentarily. And we'll see what these drivers are experiencing around this great track here in southern Alabama. I guess it's northern Alabama here at Barber, but nonetheless, it's southern to me. Everything in America is southern to me, but it's all good.
Well, Alabama's very south, though, isn't it, in fairness? So
I've been there a couple times. It's a pretty cool place, and I went to Waffle House there for the first time, and I was told to order hash browns, and they brought up these like shredded potatoes, and I'm like, the hell is this? But apparently that's a hash brown, as we're gonna go on board with Tom Bourne. We'll ride around with him. We'll let you listen in for the next lap here. That was a lap on board with Tom Bourne, the aggressive Eagle number 61 entry. That was a heck of a battle we watched from on board that truck with Justin Wadsworth. We saw Tom send it a couple times there, not quite able to clear the 61, but nonetheless, as we were saying while we were watching this, William, I think your top three is for the most part locked in for this race. I don't see anyone else getting up here unless potentially we have a wreck amongst these top three, as Tom Bourne did just clear Justin Wadsworth. And I don't know for sure that Tyler Fode's going to get this either. I think Tom Bourne may have something to say.
You know, these three have been pretty much inseparable in terms of raw pace. I mean, obviously Wadsworth did get up to the back of Tyler Foote, but again, that gap stabilised at really around the 1 second mark. And they've lost a bit of time fighting each other, which is why Tom Bourne is now 2.5 behind Tyler Foote. But Tom Bourne was about 5 seconds back, like 5 seconds ago, and he's now flying. You're seeing the gap come down visibly. He is absolutely flying. I let you know, excuse me. I let you know, God, as well. Someone you have to watch. He just came in for fresh tyres. He was running some of the fastest laps in the entire field, obviously, on those fresh tyres. This could be a big undercut in his battle against Seth Rawls for P4. But I would say definitely this top three is locked. It's just a matter of what order we're looking at here. And if we're talking raw pace, I think Tom Bourne is definitely looking to be... is the quickest truck on track right now, definitely out of this top three. And I would say, as of right now, has the best shot to win on pace. But it's so difficult to overtake around here. There are opportunities, but with the way the track is and how difficult it is to really break through that sort of 1 second mark that Justin Wadsworth found himself somewhat trapped in, I think that's going to be where the challenge lies for Tom Bourne. But as you can see, he's already down to 0.8.
Well, and the one question mark that lies over these guys' head is, can they make it on fuel? That's something that Gerald Campbell said. He knew there was a couple drivers in this field that were going to be close to being able to make it. I got to think potentially Tom Bourne is one of those drivers. Of course, a teammate of Gerald Campbell's. You got to think they were sharing some data there. Tom is close here now with Tyler Fode, but if it comes to having to come down pit road, I still think Fode might be able to edge him out just a little bit, but we'll keep our eyes on that as we are 13 coming to 12 to go this time, and that gap down to just 0.4 of a second, and all it's going to take is one deep dive into a corner, and all of a sudden these two are going to be door to door, wheel to wheel, battling for that top spot here at Barber Motorsports Park. But we'll keep our eyes peeled on that 61 Reaper entry as he's closed into that back end of the Tyler Fode JD Designs number 40.
Yeah, so Tom Bourne is absolutely flying right now. Half a second between them. We take the last lap times of 1:31.9 for Tyler Foote, 1:31.1 for Tom Bourne. Absolutely incredible pace out of that number 61 Reaper Apparel entry. As you see, just 0.4 of a second between them on the ticker there, and that's going to come down significantly, especially coming out of corner exit. That's where Tom Bourne seems to be the strongest right now. But as you say, Robert, just one deep dive, they can be wheel to wheel. Equally, one deep dive goes wrong, they could both be facing the complete wrong direction. And everything about this race is chucked totally on its head. So, absolutely, while it seems like for now, under normal conditions, your top three might be locked in. Couple cars go spinning around, a caution comes out, could change absolutely everything. So we'll just have to wait and see here.
Well, the good thing, William, is that you control that caution flag. So you can decide not to throw it and keep us nice and clean, nice and green, and allow us to battle it out. And
I could, or I could take bribes.
I don't know about that.
Not that I would ever do such a thing as an impartial race controller, but I'm saying I could make it more interesting.
You definitely could. By the way, I'm not actually. I won't say this because I don't want to put any sort of jinx on anybody. But I do have some facts that I can spit out a little bit later on, depending on how this goes. We'll keep our eyes on that. As next time by will be just 10 laps to go, less than 0.4 of a second now between Fode and Bourne. Bourne was born to fly here as he's trying to work his way by that Fode machine. Fode still doing a phenomenal job, and look at that gap, by the way, between Fode, Bourne, and now Wadsworth, almost 4 seconds back to Justin Wadsworth. He's lost a heck of a lot of time, and that is a lap truck just up the road. Jesse, can we get eyes on this lap truck? Is that Sam Boutwell in the 47? Yes, that's Sam Boutwell. I would expect him to move out of the way rather easily for these guys. He's usually pretty respectful. I just thought it might have been one of the Lake Norman trucks, which could have played into this just a little bit differently. As now less than 2/10 of a second, Tom Bourne,
Right there.
he's there, he's ready. That JD Designs number 40 still holding the top spot, but Tom Bourne right there, he's got a bumper. He knows how to use it. He has used it before and will not be afraid to use it again if he needs to. As they work their way around once again, Tom Bourne trying to get there, coming to 10 to go this time by here at Barber. Fody, Bourne, Wadsworth, Rawls, and Higgins, the top 5. Norgard back to 6th. Story 7th. Pecumer, Francis, and Dylan Haver. That is your top 10. As here comes Tom Bourne. We're about to be side by side for the lead. Thinks better of it, gets back to single file. Tom's got something here, Will, and he's going to show it momentarily.
Yeah, this is. I think this is where Tom Bourne's using all his excess essentially. Now just a quarter of a second between him, and this to be a better exit for the 61, and it's a big overtaking opportunity coming to a very heavy braking zone. He's already looking to the left. Tyler Fody seemingly powerless to resist the onslaught from the 61. Fody does take the wider line, but Tom Bourne not as brave on the anchors, but he's good on the exit. Absolutely door to door now for the race lead, but Fody with a better exit. Just about gets clear again, going into turn 7, 8, and 9. And just about with 10 to go, it's still Tyler Fody in the race lead. But you'd have to say the pressure is beginning to ratchet up here. Tom Bourne has the ball in his court now. He dictates the pace here. And he is the one who has to put Tyler Fody under pressure to force the 7-time champion into a mistake. It won't be easy, but Tom Bourne has shown some rapid pace in these last couple of laps here.
I think he's got to be careful. You don't want to show too much too early to Tyler Fody, because that can easily lead to one of those situations where Tom makes the pass, Fody saves a little bit, and all of a sudden we're talking about tire wear, Bourne going to lose spots, and it just turns really bad for these guys. We come around, coming to 9 to go, Fody still leads, and you saw it just a moment ago. Tom was almost able to put his nose in there, Will. We'll see if he does it this lap, with just 9 laps remaining.
I think what Tom needs to do now is because Justin Wadsworth has really started fading. He is now 5.5 seconds behind Tyler Fody here. I think Justin Wadsworth has shown some electric pace earlier on. He was right up Fody's backside, and now he's dropped off a cliff completely. I think Tom Bourne should heed that as a warning. Those tyres can go off a cliff seemingly with absolutely no warning. So what Tom needs to do now is just take care of his stuff. He has shown his hand now. He has shown everyone. He's shown Tyler he has the pace to stick with him and to pass him. He is currently faster than that number 40. But where Tyler Fody had the advantage now over Justin Wadsworth, and what he might do over Tom Bourne in a bit, is tyre wear. Tom Bourne's truck might not have the purchase to compete with Tyler's truck in a handful of laps time if Tom Bourne continues to work these tyres with the amount of pace that he is continuing to show here. He might simply run out of steam. We'll have to wait and see here. I think for the sake of the battle, I'd like to hope that the 61's tyres do remain intact for this entire battle. We'd like to see this go all the way to the flag, but that is something that Tom needs to be very, very aware of.
Oh, as Tom sends it a bit deep there through that final corner and nearly wipes himself out. He's going to have to recover, and he's recovering nicely, as that's Cody McCorkle just up the road, the Shift Esports driver of that number 2 truck, just ahead of your race leader, Tyler Fody, and second place man, Tom Bourne. And of course, just a reminder, this is how they started the race as well. Fody on pole, Bourne second, Wadsworth was third. So your top 3 exactly where they started, and they're all doing a fantastic job. Justin Wadsworth is very solidly in that 3rd position. He's got 21 seconds out the back, 6 seconds up the road. So he's okay right now. But these 2 guys up front, they've got to mind each other and make sure they don't race too aggressive, because you don't want to wipe each other out and lose the top 2 for the both of you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Tom Bourne's still way up the rear bumper. of Tyler Foote here. But you see, just in front of them, Shifty Sports' Cody McCorkle just coming to be the next truck to go a lap down here. He currently runs in position number 14 there. As you see, well, he's just gone off into the grass, so that makes life very, very easy for the front two, as a P13 Mitchell Javier will be next on the hit list, as it were. And that, of course, is a late normal motorsports truck, so I do wonder if there'll be some team play potentially coming into effect. We'll have to wait and see, but 7 laps to go now. The options are beginning to dwindle for Tom Bourne to try and get past Tyler Foote. And the more laps that tick by, the more corners that tick by where Tom Bourne isn't able to make the move, the more the advantage ever so slightly sways in the favour of Tyler Foote. Less opportunity to make that one race winning move. The more time that Tom has to continue to use to keep with him, it's do or die, now or never, for Tom Bourne. Needs to make this move as soon as possible.
Absolutely. As we keep our eyes on this battle, a number to keep in mind, 1330. We'll give you more on that a little bit later, depending on if it comes into play. But 1330, a number to keep in mind here, Will, as Tom Bourne chases down Tyler Foote. 0.4 of a second, now half a second separates first and second. You mentioned up the road, a couple of lap trucks at good distance off. That includes Mitch Javier. But I don't think they're going to come too much into play at this point, as Tom Bourne using every inch of that racetrack, trying to give himself as much room to spread his legs and get going.
It's just 2 tenths now between these two. Tom Bourne again in full attack mode. Does he look for it again into the into turn 16? I don't think so.
He peaks, but not quite able to do it.
Little error, I
Gets
think.
himself a little loose as well. We'll see if he gathers it up. Every time he's made a mistake, he has been able to step back, breathe for just a moment, and then pounce again. But now 0.6 of a second, it's separating just a little bit further between Bourne and Foote as Austin and Abnett comes back out onto the racetrack just behind them. He won't come into play in that 60 machine, but we'll see what Bourne can do. Otherwise, just taking a quick peek through. Ooh, there's some smoke there.
Ooh. Barbecue?
Yeah, potentially cooking some ribs or something here at Barber. You never know, as Gavin Higgins takes a pit side in the number 20 machine. He's looking to see what neighbor Pete's got in store for him. Going to give him a little tuning up on pit lane and get himself back out there on the racetrack, as Higgins does take it through the pits. We'll have a couple drivers move up in the standings as a result of that, as this time by going to be 5 to go. That'll be 38 laps completed here at the Barber Motorsports Park, and these guys have done a great job so far. Kept it clean, kept us green, as Bourne, well, he's there again. He's closed that right back up to 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, we saw through the middle sector there, Tom Bourne just ate right into that gap, went as low as 0.3 of a second. You see again here, 29 hundredths still, and it's going to get a good exit out of the final corner. This is Tom Bourne's best opportunity yet, and there's only 5 to go. I think now is the time, now or never. Is he going to get brave on the anchors? He is. Might be a bit too brave. They've both gone off the track. Oh my word. And Tom Bourne will be forced to relinquish that. And now a second between Tyler Foote and Tom Bourne. They've both gone flying off the racetrack. Now Tom Bourne has to just breathe, recollect himself as he totally dropped under brake, and as did Tyler. Oh my word.
I think Tyler kind of had to avoid getting wrecked right there.
I think so.
As they sprinted
dear,
in. Oh my gosh. That was insane. Tom should have just stayed on that gas, got back out there. But nonetheless, 0.8 of a second now separating first and second. We'll see if Tom Bourne's able to close the gap. You cannot count this guy out until the very end. By the way, Tom has 2 elite victories in his career. In those races, he's led a combined 2 laps.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Any
sir.
play tracks? Or
both play tracks. Both play tracks, both Daytona.
Interesting. But you know he's good on the road courses. We've seen him in
Well,
all
look at
of
the
the
gap.
Elite Series.
Look at the gap.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Two
he's just
tenths.
come flying straight back up to his
He's
backside. We
back.
talked about a second at the beginning of last lap. We could see a replica of last lap again. He's not afraid to make those sort of dives. We know he's good on the road courses. We've seen him not just tonight, but we've seen him in all three main NASCAR series and in the Dev series as well. But 3/10 not quite as close to this time. No DRS, unfortunately, in this particular series to help.
That's
Tom
what happened
Bourne.
last time. He used the
DRS.
a bit of Jack Doohan's book there and
Yeah,
held the
the rear
DRS
wing
open.
didn't close. Rear wing didn't close. and
He
it's gone
held it
flying back
open.
up.
Video game move right there.
Yeah. It's the esports strat.
3 to go this upcoming time by Tyler Fode, Tom Bourne. They're in a Lake Norman sandwich, though. Austin and Abnett just behind. Mitch Haver right there as well. Tyler's probably yelling at Mitch to get out of the way right now, just knowing that Tom Bourne is hungry behind him, looking to snag himself a victory here in the Juicy Spider Truck Series. And that's what made it spicy juicy there a couple laps ago when he absolutely full sent that thing.
Definitely was a bit spicy, a bit juicy between those particular trucks as Tom Bourne's going to lose a couple of tenths of a second, navigating past Mitch Haver just before that particular chicane. Coming to free to go this time. 8/10 at a peak there between Tom Bourne and Tyler Foote. I think Tom just went off for a little excursion, 2 wheels in the grass, nearly a second now between these two.
And he just gained 4/10 back in that one corner.
Yeah. Well, now again, Epsom flows already back up to a second.
A little bit, yeah.
It's Epsom flows, but again, it's starting to claw it all back now out of the exit of the final corner. It's really beginning to ebb and flow between these two, as I think tyres are beginning to let go on both of these machines with just the length of their stint. So I do wonder who will profit from which parts of the track. Seems like corner exit really is where Tom Bourne is looking the quickest. We've got a replay of Gavin Higgins here.
What Gavin do? Did he try to visit neighbor Pete from the racetrack?
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yes, he did.
That's gravel.
He thought
Neighbor
neighbor
gravel.
Pete was building a sandcastle, and he was not.
He's not. We just knocked neighbor Pete's sandcastle straight down. Pete won't be happy.
He just curb stomped that sandcastle as we come to go this upcoming time by. It's still Fode leading Bourne, but this guy, man, anytime he dies, he's born again as he's coming back to the rear end of that Tyler Fode machine. What a drive by this 61. No matter what, both of these guys, Tyler Fode and Tom Bourne, deserve so much credit for their battle, for bringing some life into a road course race with a smaller field. Maybe not as much. Oh man, he's just gonna do it this time. He just wants to go. He's gonna send it right here, Will. As we're getting set to come to 2 to go, the popsicle sticks getting set to come out of the freezer. I hear it cracking open. Is it strawberry? Is it peach? Is it cherry? Who cares? We're gonna put them in the air this time by as Tyler Fode gonna work his way through the final set of corners. Coming to 2 to go. Tom Bourne right behind him. Does Bourne try to get there again this time? We'll see.
Might do. Let's see. 2/10 late dive potentially. Not this time. Popsicle sticks are out, of course. I hope they're not spicy juicy. I don't think those would taste very nice.
They might taste okay.
Well, no, they're a frozen treat, aren't they? So I don't know if spicy. That seems like an odd combination. I don't know. Maybe up in Canada they do spicy popsicles, but they don't do them down here. That is for sure. But 3/10 still the gap between Tom Bourne and Tyler Foote is Bourne really beginning to apply the pressure, but Tyler Foote has done brilliantly to really not deviate from his line at all. He has soaked up the pressure like a big old sponge.
Here's a question for you, Will, though.
Yeah.
Do you think Tom Bourne would use the bumper if he has the opportunity to do so?
Oh, yeah. I think you have to. And I think Tyler Foote is expecting it. I think if he gets back there, I mean, I'm looking at Tom Bourne very skittish coming out of that last corner there, coming out of turn 9. I think the next time Tom Bourne gets within a couple of tenths, I think he has to just try and get to the back bumper.
Give him a big old yeet?
Well, not a big enough yeet, otherwise I'm going to have to get involved, but a big enough yeet where moves Tyler Foote out of the way without me having to get involved. I'll be quite lenient.
Caleb McHumor comes to pit lane, unfortunately, coming to 1 to go. As the drivers do work their way past that start-finish line, coming to the white flag this time. White flag's in the air. 1 lap to go here at Barber. Tom Bourne not quite close enough. We'll see on this lap if he can do it. He's not going to be able to make the move into turns number 1 and 2 as we go high above. Dave Huckleberry, the pilot of today's Elite Racing Network helicopter. Dave, how's it going up there, buddy? Keep it clean. Keep it green in the skies, my friend. We don't need you setting off any alarms or getting too close to this no-flight zone as Fody stretching just a little bit from Tom Bourne, but Bourne trying to close up once again. There is a lap truck just up the road, but I don't think Tom's going to be able to get 1.4 back. I think Tom might have gone off track there and has lost a ton of time. Unfortunately for Tom Bourne, doesn't look like it's going to be victory today at Barber, as Tyler Fody has stretched that lead to 1.7 seconds over Tom Bourne. Bourne going to settle into second as Harrison Talon moves out of the way. We'll jump back up to Tyler Fody as he's working his way through the final couple corners. He's going to set his sights on victory for the second time this season in the Juicy Spider Truck Series. 1.1 seconds the gap. Not enough time, though, as here comes Tyler Fody headed into the final corner for the final time here tonight. Checkered flags in the air. The Juicy Spider Truck Series victory goes to the JD Designs number 40 of Tyler Fody. Tom Bourne second. Justin Wadsworth comes home in third. Seth Rawls looks like he's going to wrap up fourth ahead of a Leighton Norgard in fifth. The rest of the field going to wrap up their laps here as Caleb Becumer re-enters the racetrack. That might give us a battle for the 9th spot here on the last lap as Tom Bourne going to give a bit of a nudge there to Tyler Fody. Congratulate him. Yes, there is a battle for 9th. Becumer just ahead of Jeff Green. Green going to fall back just a little bit there. We'll see what Caleb Becumer can do. Of course, Caleb is on fresh tires, came down in the closing 2 laps of this one to grab some fresh rubber on that number 59 machine for Lake Norman Motorsports. Rawls and Norgard come home 4th and 5th. They've wrapped those up. Jess Story about to cross in position number 6. Joe Francis in the 7th spot as he comes across. Gavin Higgins going to work his way through the final couple corners, bringing home in position number 8. Becumer looks to be 9th, and Jeff Green going to round up the top 10. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll talk to Tyler Fody, Tom Bourne, and Justin Wadsworth here. It's the Barber 100 at the Barber Motorsports Park in the Juicy Spider Truck Series here on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to WWTRaceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Welcome back here to the Barber Motorsports Park. Tyler Fody gathering the victory over Tom Bourne. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our official finishing results here tonight. Tyler Fody taking the victory over Tom Bourne. Justin Wadsworth going to come home in position number 3. There we go. Seth Rawls 4th. Leighton Norgard going to bring it home in 5th. Great recovery for him with his off strategy sequence there on pit lane. Jess Story with a good run in 6th. Joe Francis 7th. Gavin Higgins comes home in 8th. Caleb Pecumer 9th. Jeff Green going to round out the top 10. 11th goes to Mitch Haver. Jaden Rasimas in 12th. Cody McCorkle 13th. Sam Boutwell 14th. 15th goes to Dylan Haver. Austin and Abnett in 16th. Your DNFs here tonight: Harrison Talon, Gerald Campbell in the top 18. Chris Wright, Dusty Dorr, Mark Revilas, Josh Adams, and did not start is Patrick Hahey. As we await our top 3 finishers, looks like we do have Tom Bourne standing by. So we'll go ahead and throw it to Jesse Rasimas that's going to be standing by with our second place driver, Tom Bourne.
Hey, Tom, it's Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, so why don't you tell us about your race there? Towards the end, you kind of closed the gap to Tyler, and it looked like you might take a run at him and get a dub there, but didn't quite work out in your favor. You want to give us a rundown of how your race went?
Yeah, so truck was fast all night long. I had one of my friends, Scott, kind of coaching me through every lap what I could do better and whatnot. And he said to me in at the end of qualifying, he's about the middle half in the little chicane to attack the curbs more, and I picked up a lot of time there. Um, Overall, it was a fun race. I put a lot of time and effort into this track to try and learn it, and ultimately it paid off. I thought we had something for Fody, but ultimately with 2 laps to go, the rear tires it was like a switch flipped, and all of a sudden I just lost all grip on corner exit. I felt like that was where I was the best, was over everybody, was corner exit. I could really put the power down. But something I noticed is I was running a 12-1 in the race. A lot of people were running 10-1, and I feel like that ultimately just saved those front tires as well, and I was able to kind of steady the car instead of sliding it off the corner.
Yeah, so we'd seen a little bit of that during the race as we were watching. It seemed like rear grip was a little bit of a struggle as well. Was that the case for your truck?
Yes and no. I if I didn't have the wheel somewhat straight when I put the power down, I was definitely feeling the tires spin. Like it was I lost all traction coming off, but overall, I felt like I could manage it pretty well. I noticed there was a lot of people that were struggling with that, rear tire grip. And one thing that I was told before the race, and one thing I learned in my multiple hours of practice this week, is just save the rear tires. It'll pay off in the long run.
Gotcha. So looking at the points here after the race, it looks like you're going to retain the point lead. And how about you tell us about your playoff run? You looking forward to any races coming up in the playoffs? I'm pretty sure you're going to be locked in. So
Yeah, that I was coming in here just hoping that I could maintain the points lead. I know Cody hasn't had the finishes that he's wanted over the past 2 weeks, and that really let me regain it and kind of open it up after last week at Kansas and this week. But looking forward, I'm excited for the playoffs.
gotcha.
Michigan and Bristol are the 2 tracks that I kind of have circled. Iowa's a hit or miss, and Homestead, depending on how the session's set up and what time of day and track temp, that could be a hit or miss as well. But overall, we're just looking for consistency. We've been consistent all season long, and we're just trying to get to the Final Four and then go from there.
Yeah, so it looks like Justin Wadsworth is actually going to overtake Cody McCorkle there on the point standings. He's just 43 points shy behind you. So you definitely got it locked in, and we look forward to seeing what you can do here in the next upcoming races and take a run towards the championship. You got any sponsor shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting on broadcasts. At this point, it's probably 7 days a week. Elite's always growing, and hats off to Chad for making it how it is, and you guys up in the booth every week. Um, Reaper Apparel Company, they're fantastic. I love having them on the car. Great merch and um, Player One Coffee. Aggressive Eagle, they brought me back this season, and we're running across Arca, Trucks, and Xfinity under them. So happy to be part of them. Um, Melissa, she's always watching. Sydney, she's very excited I get to have another interview because she doesn't hear them often in this, unfortunately, in the Truck Series. But we're going to try and change that moving forward. Um, yeah, and everybody watching. Um, without them, we couldn't, we wouldn't have an audience to watch, obviously, and there'd really be no point in broadcasting. But and one last thing, hats off to Fody. Second time a part timer has stolen a victory from me this season, and I finished second to him. So hopefully we can change that moving forward.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and look forward to the rest of your run here in the Juicy Spider Truck Series, and see if you come out with the championship at the end.
Thanks, guys. We're gonna make it interesting.
That was your third place driver. Second place driver, Tom Bourne with Jesse Rasimas. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in Justin Wadsworth, our third place driver, alongside William White.
Hey, Justin, it's William in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
What's going on, guys?
So obviously, on the surface, P3 at Barber, only 10 seconds behind Tyler Foote. Doesn't sound terrible, like I say, on the surface. But of course, at one point in the middle of that second stage, you were right up his backside, but wasn't to be on this occasion. But just give us a rundown of your night overall, Justin.
A good night overall. I'd never raced at Barber before. But yeah, once you get settled in, it wasn't too bad. Most of the race, though, I was just trying to save fuel, and I know Tyler was too. We were talking during the race. What an incredible job by Tom Bourne there. He came back from, I don't know, 8 seconds behind us, and still was able to battle with Tyler and make it to the end. So, congrats to him, and we're happy to come home P3.
Yeah, of course. You were at one point really battling with Tyler there, looking potentially. We were tipping you for the race win at points there in that middle of the second stage. You looked like you really had the pace over Tyler, but was it a case of the tires letting go sort of as that battle begun to fizzle out and start to drop back, the tires began to give, or was there something that changed in that six machine that meant you couldn't quite fight as hard as you were anymore?
Not a lot changed. I was trying to take care of the tires. I think Tyler he's just better at saving fuel than me. We were talking about where we were at with the gallons partway through the run, and I realized I was quite a bit burned up quite a bit more than him, so I had to save a lot longer than I think he did. So he was able to just kind of drive away while I was still saving fuel, and I wasn't able to push till maybe the last 5 or 10 laps.
I see. Well, of course, we are coming to the end of the regular season. Only Talladega left in the regular season, but you do find yourself in a good position points-wise. You've overtaken Cody McCorkle in the points, so you're now second, only 40-odd points behind Tom Bourne. But obviously, being second will give you a good playoff bubble, a playoff cushion to work with. So with that, obviously, Talladega being the wild card that we know that it is, what's your outlook for that night? Are we just looking to have fun, go 100% for a win, or what's the strategy?
Honestly, just go out there and have fun, try and bring it home in one piece. You want to win, of course, but if I could get into the playoffs and P2, get those extra points to start off, yeah, that'd be good. And Talladega is always fun. Just hopefully can be there at the end, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely a solid P3 for you overall, Justin. Any sponsors or partners you want to thank for getting another podium for the number 6 machine?
Yeah, shout out to Tyler. Congrats to him on the win. Tom as well. Like I said, he did an awesome job out there saving fuel and kind of running us back down. Shout out to my dad, Craig Wads, and my mom. They're both always watching my races. And then shout out to my girlfriend, Jill. She kind of supports me through all the races, the racing I do throughout the week, and they all do. So yeah, shout out to them. I wouldn't be able to do it without their support.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on another podium, Justin. Hopefully we see you a few more times this season, and a good run tonight, my friend.
All right, I hope so too, guys. Thanks.
And that was your third place driver, Justin Wadsworth with William White. Now we're going to talk to the man of the hour, Tyler Foti. Tyler, congratulations. Another victory here in the Juicy Spider Truck Series. Walk us through that one, and how tough was it in those closing laps trying to hold off Tom Bourne?
Yeah, I was just talking to him about it actually. It started out. I feel like Justin and I had the pace, and Tom. To be fair to Tom, the top three finishers were top three on pace for sure. But felt really good. And then we did the stage yellow, and we had talked about it in practice a little, but it really like came to mind under that yellow, looking at the fuel, that there was a potential to make it, like if you saved. And so we started those pace laps after the stage, just full clutching, saving. And I didn't know the whole field, or I didn't really know how much the field knew about that. But when we went green, Justin and I kind of had to go the first 3 or 4 laps to get through Gerald and Chris. And after about 5 laps into that stage, we had about an 8-9 second gap on Tom, and we both at that point just went into like super save mode, just short shifting and lifting early and staying in high gear. And we watched Tom close the whole 8-second gap down like right to our bumpers, and Justin and I were both talking like there's no way he's saved at all to get up to us here. So we weren't really worried about it, and Justin kind of let him go, and then we started getting down to it, and he was really pushing me, and I'm glad I did, but I just started going. I'm like, I don't really want him to go by me here because I don't know. But yeah, somehow Tom saved enough gas. I do not know how, but those last 6-7 laps was 100%, like everything we had there. And at one point, we both flew off the track in turn 1 and kept it rolling. But yeah, huge props to him for managing the fuel way better than we did. It is a shame though that it turned into kind of a fuel save race. We never really got to show the true pace, but a win's a win, so we'll take it.
And you mentioned a win being a win. You now sit at 91 wins in your Elite Racing League career. Closing in on the century mark, would be the first and only driver to do it here in Elite. Is that on your mind at all? Are you thinking about that 100 mark and how you would celebrate picking up 100 victories in this league?
Yeah, it's very much on my mind. I've been looking at that the last 15 to 20 wins actually, but yeah, that's kind of the goal. I want to get to that and kind of set that benchmark, and then most likely be done with the full time, to be honest. But that is the goal. Still got another season or so to get to that. But yeah, just we're trying. So the road course truck races, I definitely take advantage of if I can. So happy to be down here. Happy to be racing with some of the guys, and glad we were able to put on kind of an exciting race, honestly, at the end there with Tom.
Yeah, it was definitely one heck of a good show there, Tyler. Before we let you go here tonight, now the floor is yours. Any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give for putting that beautiful number 40 truck out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, the Lake Norman guys, Justin securing the podium there. Tom kind of spoiled our 1-2, but we'll take it. He's third's good. He's running for points. Caleb got a ninth. Mitch Haver, honestly, I think this might be his best career finish outside of a super speedway. Did really well, nailed the fuel strategy, kept it on track, got an 11th. So I'm sure he's pumped about that. Yeah, Dylan, Austin, Chris, all the guys for showing up here. And then JD Designs, John Cutlip, for doing all of our paints. And yeah, you guys up here putting on the show.
Congratulations on another victory, Tyler. We'll see you tomorrow night at Daytona in the Robilus Photography Grand National Series.
Appreciate it.
That was your race winner, Tyler Foti. Guys, we'll get some final thoughts from you. Let's go ahead and start with you, Jesse. What were your thoughts on this one here tonight?
Kind of surprising that it strung out as far as it did. I mean, we've seen guys a lap down towards the end before on road courses, but The real shock there was Tom Bourne coming for the run at the end. I think, like Tyler said, that he did a lot better on the fuel saving strategy and was able to make a run towards the end. But the racing overall was really well. Definitely a road course that might be worthwhile in other series.
Will, final thoughts from you, my friend?
Yeah, it was a very, very good one. I was ecstatic to see the end of the race battle there between Tyler and Tom there. I thought after the battle between Wadsworth and 30 fizzled out that it was kind of going to become plain sailing for the 40, but it was anything but with the 61 there pressuring him right at the end. But Tyler 30 did very, very well to hold strong, soak up all that pressure as you would expect out of a 7-time league champion. So definitely proving again and again why he is one of the best here in Elite. But also, all 20 odd of them, however many started, they made my life easy up in the race control booth, and it meant I could stay up in the commentary box, having a laugh with you two up in here. So it was a nice, chill, relaxed race. Got to have some laughs. I was still spectating and calling some awesome battles between some of the best in the league. A deserving winner. Some amazing battles all up and down the field. Strategy as well. So yeah, no, very, very, very cool to see.
Yeah, definitely a solid one here today. And this was a track that I think a lot of people had question marks on coming into this one, but at the end of it, it's no question marks. It's just check marks all around. It was one heck of a good race. Tyler Fody, Tom Bourne, Justin Wadsworth put on a show up front, especially Tom and Tyler there towards the end, and some great battles throughout the field as well, all race long. Of course, we had Seth and Leighton battling for fourth and fifth. We saw Jeff Green and Gavin Higgins, as well as Jaden Rasimas back there around the 10th position, putting on a good show for us all night long. And as always, a good time up here in the booth with both yourself, William, and of course, the great Jesse Rasimas, who was able to recover damn nicely from the technical difficulties that we had earlier on. But on behalf of all of us here at ERN, we thank you at home for joining us here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night, Robilas Photography Grand National Series from Daytona to wrap up the regular season in that series. Be sure to join us. It's going to be a heck of a good show, and you better be there. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.